It was based on the Gary short answers.
Well, also, don't do me a favor. Someone have their laptop. Just check out our elections. Yeah. Because we should be live. I like that there's if you go at it.
Oh my god, that's like a
Yeah, I know. That's why they.
How many people were running? Like
A lot of
8
people are showing up.
Yeah.
Especially for cool press.
Yeah, I know. It's a lot of enthusiasm.
It's gonna be tight. Victoria?
Linda?
Call Jimmy.
AJ? Which one? Guy or girl?
Jesse, is the link online on Facebook? So I'm gonna check if it's
You're going. I'm going on. Yeah, it's live.
I got it back.
Amazing. Where is that? Can we stop
You're
this?
right there. Computer. The live feed is the computer.
Yeah, it's from my laptop.
Don't worry, there's no like.
Oh my god. So close.
If we do something with this. It's sorted, yeah. It's
Amazing.
Okay.
I think we're here. Yeah, the sound was just going around and around.
Yeah.
Have you seen a lot of people watching?
Yeah, there's 2 people watching.
Only
I think
two.
one of them is me.
I want to miss out.
Well.
Okay, so we're just gonna wait for Julie, and then we'll get started. She should be in a second. So everyone else sent me their questions, but
Yeah, that's very questions.
Ken, why did you get so many questions?
Because it's part of the MSS.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got even a bit more because of like I wrote too many things in my bio. So people are like taking things of the bio and asking
They're
precise
really
questions.
like picking up.
Which makes sense. I mean, if you're going to say something.
Oh yeah, but if you go and read my answers, it makes sense.
Yeah, sorry, Vincent, I couldn't go through all those.
I know it's a lot of words, right?
Yeah, I read. Then that was it.
just we're just gonna wait for Julie.
That's why I was waiting to answer for.
Oh, David,
questions.
you.
Sure.
You're the one guest.
Yeah, that's gonna be the more like hard questions to
I
answer.
think the pressure is on you now.
There's a few Medpees, there's the Medpees, but there's also the better ones that were with the Medpees.
I'm sure dozens of people are logging in online. Dozens.
So there's Yizan, there's Ahmed, there's Mariam, they're all upstairs at the same place.
Mommy, I'm trying to study Italian.
Okay, but then you're not
No, but they're not.
I need 2 people.
What time are your elections going to say? They're ongoing, right?
It's right now.
Just so you just go back to the sun. Because we're just gonna wait for Julie. She has the elections. So worst case, you guys will go first. But if anything, she'll be here. In the next couple. We'll just start doing the
speech.
Yeah.
How do we do
Also, we're gonna actually.
I'll explain.
Oh, I was gonna like rock paper scissors.
No,
I prefer tossing a coin.
Yeah, tossing a coin.
I feel like it's
It's no strategy.
it's like too power because otherwise that like
I don't know if she's like. How are you feeling? You feeling better?
You guys?
Discuss that later.
All the colors. Usually it's just like a plain.
so how does it work? So you can do that. I'm gonna just
Especially.
Yeah, you have to do that. You have to say what you do when
The
a
speeches
member
for President Kamala.
Okay.
do this.
We're in the last one?
No.
Can I just do the perfect thing that would you give to someone in the business? I want to people, and they made like a lot of mistakes, like no, maybe like
One question, and then, you know,
No. This is the 30-second flag period with the
I don't
answers.
see myself like getting asked like
No, don't worry.
It's the experience, I have many questions. As you go outside.
amazing.
We'll call your own.
I'm not even surprised.
Jesse, you think we gotta go on to 6?
I'm not even surprised.
I was
actually expecting
The question is, let's make sure that there's also.
Anyone else from the audience?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think Julie's on her way, but we'll just get started without her because it's 4:30. So,
Look your best. Show your pearls.
all right. So I guess welcome everyone to the fall 2018 elections. First thing I want to say is for anyone who comes up here to talk, so we do have the live stream going on right here. So just make sure that you're standing kind of in front of the podium and just double check that people can see you, just so that you're visible and people can see. Yeah.
Yeah, put it on the top right there to make it easier.
Here? Should be. It's just with the cord, it might, I'll do this. Yeah, that's good. The number? No, I can't see. Yes, we've currently got 2 people watching. So we're good.
People will be able to watch it afterwards, right?
What's that? Yeah. It'll be posted for the rest of the campaign. And they can always go back and watch. Yeah, so we'll get started. So first thing, we're gonna do the land acknowledgement. So McGill University is situated on the traditional territory of the Kanyen Kiaka, a place which has long served as a site of meeting and exchange amongst nations. Okay, so I'm also gonna take a moment to introduce our chief ruling officer. So Samuel Rozanov-Stoichev, right here. So he's just overviewing our elections and making sure that everything is going smoothly and everything's according to plan. So with that, I'll also just get started on the order of things. So we're gonna start, well, originally we're gonna start with the Global Health Juniors, but if Julie's not here, we're gonna go right to the next first, and then we'll come back. So then we'll do the academic representative, so Chloe Gordon, then the Med 1 class representatives, so Alexa and Alicia, followed by the treasurer, so Victor and Jia Chen, and then the Med 1 presidents, then Fardad and Rami will go. Good? So with that, seeing as Julie is not yet here, but she will show up, so we'll start with the academic representative. So Chloe, you can come on up. Just one more thing. So for the way that it's going to go with the speeches, I have a 1 minute 30 and a 2 minute flag. So I'll just be waving those as it's going along, just so you have an idea of time. And at 2, we'll cut you off. And for the 2 questions, it'll be 1 minute 30 for the answer. We'll start the timer the second you start answering the question. So you can take a moment, think about it, and then start answering the question. Good? All right.
Questions are at the end, or?
Yeah, so after the speech, and then there's open to the audience, and the people in the past councils also have prepared some questions for you guys. Good? So with that, I'll leave it to Chloe.
I just wanted to preface that I wrote this speech assuming that more people would be watching, so just bear with me.
So just give me a minute. All right, when you're
You can start.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, everyone. I would like to take this opportunity to officially introduce myself. My name is Chloe, and I'm most likely going to be your academic rep this year. In these first 3 weeks of studying alongside all of you, I have been so impressed and just a little bit intimidated by everyone's ambitions and work ethics. As your academic rep, it would be my greatest pleasure to have some role, no matter how minor, in helping you all achieve your academic goals and pursuits. My previous role as VP Academics for the MedP-DentP cohort has taught me the value in fostering an open dialogue within the class, as well as coming to solutions to problems in a creative and responsible way. Further, I will ensure that our voices are heard and that we have fair examinations and assessments. Also, I will organize review sessions and create post-exam surveys to keep track of where everyone is academically and to ensure that no student is feeling isolated due to their academic standing. And finally, I will always be accessible to answer questions or to just listen to you vent about social determinants and the Ottawa Charter. Navigating this new environment has been stressful for many of us, and I hope that as your academic rep, I can work alongside all of you to make our lives just a little bit easier and full of wellness for everyone. Thank you.
Okay, and now for questions. So Alex Cohen, who was the person who had that post last year as the Med 1 academic president or academic rep. So she has 2 questions for you. So, the electives gap policy is one that is a very heated topic of conversation at the moment, and will surely continue as such throughout your time as Med 1 academic rep. What do you view to be your role in this, and how will you advocate for and support your classmates through this potential change?
Okay. So, first thing I'd like to say is that I know that many of us come into med school having this like clear plan of what we're going to do. And, this new electives cap kind of puts it into question. You have to start like parallel planning and thinking of plan Bs. And I think that as my role as academic rep is just to firstly find the resources that are offered to us. And then like with the president as well as other people in our council to just work together to provide everyone the best option to find a plan B. I was thinking that I know we always have post-match talks, but it would be interesting to have people who match specifically in maybe a plan B to understand how they coped with that and how they found a plan B and how they came to terms with being okay with it. Of course, there's a lot more information that's going to come out, and I think it's my role to stay informed and then to relay that message to the group.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And next question. So, what do you believe to be the most important quality for an academic representative to possess, and how will you uphold it throughout this coming year?
All right, so in my own experience with like jobs with like academic leadership roles, I think the most important thing is to be open. And whether that means to find new solutions when stuff stops working for the cohort, or just to be open to people when they have questions and to foster this environment that people can come to me with issues and that they feel safe so that I can help advocate for them. So I think it's just to be open-minded, whether it be understanding like my dynamic with the faculty as well with the students. And to also like full discretion to be open with everyone about what's going on and what we need to do to improve.
Perfect, thanks. All right, that's all. Thanks. So seeing as Julie is still not here, we're still going to wait for the VP Global Health Juniors, and we're going to go to the Med 1 class representatives. So I will ask Alexa and Alicia to come to the stage.
All right, so hey guys, I'm Alicia and this is Alexa, and we're running like he said, that we're running for the 2 Med 1 social representative positions. So we first just want to start off by saying that probably just like all of you here, we're super excited to finally be starting med school, and we do want to make sure that everyone here has an amazing time on this journey.
So why do we want to be your social reps? In SAGEP undergrad or grad studies, it might have been hard to juggle all of your social activities with your academic work. So we're here to help you guys make that easier and try to make sure everyone has a healthy balance between academics and social life in med school. Even just as we're finishing week 3, we're realizing how busy med school is, and we just want to make it as much fun as possible for you guys, bearing in mind how busy it is. In order to do this, we're going to be planning events where we have lots of fun parties that are inclusive and include everyone's varying interests, but we'll also be organizing some more laid-back events where we'll have time to relax and chill after a really hectic block. We do have some ideas for our social events, but of course we're really open to any suggestions that our class might have, so you could always reach us on Facebook or email us with any suggestions you have.
So just to give you guys a little sneak peek of some of the ideas that we thought of. So we were thinking about maybe organizing a little relaxing spa night, going laser questing, going to the Sugar Shack together, or even just having a board game night together. We know it's going to be super important to kind of relax and rejuvenate during med school, and we want our events to be inclusive to everyone in our class, so that way we'll have the opportunity to really get to know each other super well. And so we do want to give you guys the best possible balance between partying and relaxation as well. But that being said, we do plan on having some awesome and, of course, responsible parties after the end of each block. Trust us, we know how to throw a good party.
So for those of you who saw our awesome pathology meme on our Facebook campaign page, don't ask us how long it took to find that, but we promise that it won't take nearly as long for us to plan an awesome event for you guys. So thanks for listening, and we hope to see most of you at the Dental Outreach Hype Party tonight. Thank you.
Just one second, any questions? So these are questions from Nam and from Rachel, who were your position last year. And so question 1, many events that you will be planning occur directly after exams. How do you plan to balance your academic obligation with your role as a social rep?
Do I go? Yeah.
We can both go.
Yeah, so I would say definitely we're not last minute people, so we'll definitely get started on planning before exam time comes just to make sure that everything goes smoothly. We're not going to leave planning a party for our whole entire class till the last week or a few days before the block is over.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's just about time management. I think we're both really good time managers and we're good at prioritizing. And also, I think as a council, for the whole Med 1 council, we'll be able to work together and we'll have things done well in advance. So hopefully, you know, it won't be an issue so much with the academics and balancing this role.
Okay, perfect, thanks. Question 2. What will be your strategies to increase the attendance at your events?
I think that it's important to not only get everyone's attention on, well, a lot of us use Facebook, so on Facebook, but also sending out emails and making sure we've reached as many people as possible, making class announcements. But I think that if we are really listening to our class and what they have interests in and what they like to do, we'll plan events that cater to a lot of people. So hopefully they'll appeal to everyone.
And also we do want to have some sort of like feedback or polling or just like a little questionnaire after our events or something like that to get feedback from that event and how we can kind of make it better to maybe increase attendance for the next one.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
So while we're still waiting for Julie, but she's on her way, don't worry, she'll be in like 5 minutes. So we'll go ahead with the Med 1 treasurer position. So now we're headed into the positions that are contested. So the way that we'll do it is we'll do it by coin toss. So it's here, so you guys can look up. So I'll just flip the coin. One of you.
Okay, I'll be heads.
Or that's okay. Okay. So we'll flip, and then whoever has
The heads will go.
whatever's the yeah. So whatever is wrong will go first. Okay, and then the other person will wait outside while they do the speech and answer the questions. Okay. So tails.
That means I start.
Yes.
Right? Cool.
So Victor, you can just wait outside.
So I do the questions and then he comes in and then.
Yeah. So he's going to stay outside the whole time while I say the speech, questions, and then he'll have the same questions out. So whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Cool. All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Jia Chen, and I'm running for the position of Met 1 treasurer. So I'm sure you all know what a treasurer does in his daily life. So I'm going to spare you the details of that. But I just want to say that just a little bit of my background. I come from graduate studies in bioinformatics and a brief professional journey in business consultancy. So the former taught me the skills necessary to do this because it's a very numerical degree. And the latter sparked my interest in management, especially of finances. So in essence, what do I bring to the table? Now, I just want to get into the meat right away because I have a minute and a half. So right now, Met 1 treasurer has no obligation to provide financial statements because we are not audited. The MSS is being audited, but I don't think that's fair. I think that you guys should know where your money is going and where your money is even coming from. And this is why I propose financial statements at the end of every term. So whether this be fall, winter, or summer. And now where I differ from a regular financial report, which if you have read is not a fun thing to read, is I want to bring qualitative assessments as the primary subject of it, right? Because not like numbers do tell a lot, but not everyone has the time nor the energy to read numbers, especially we're medical students, we like efficiency, right? So I want to do qualitative and slightly quantitative statistical analyses of where your money is going so we can, you guys can all see where we're spending that money because it's your money after all. And my second point is related to this in the sense that I want to take a hands-off approach to spending because I think that your money should not be dictated by me. I think that I can allocate the funds, but I shouldn't tell the social reps or the academic reps how to spend your money. I can tell them maybe if you want to reserve New City Gas instead of apartment, that's going to cost a lot more and be less efficient. But I'm not going to say you should do apartment because that's a better way to spend your money because that might not be what the students actually want. You guys didn't entrust me with the power to decide how to spend your money, you guys are going to instruct these two over here, right? So I don't have the power to do that. I don't think it's responsible for me to do that. So I'm going to take a hands-off approach. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, so just no questions. So, question number 1. So this is from Bianca Sarkis, who had the position again last year in the role. So a major part of the treasurer's mandate is to organize the McGill Medicine Apparel Sale, which caters to students from all 4 years of study. What do you think the most challenging aspect of this task will be, and how do you plan to address it?
Right. So I have to start right off the bat. I have never dealt with something that is very similar to this. I've dealt with cases that are related. Sales. I've been a salesman for 4 years, actually. But in terms of ordering from multiple different companies, I have to say that I have never done it in the past, but I have seen it done many, many times. And I think the biggest challenge is the reliability of the supplier, because you can have the most robust logistics system on your end. If your supplier if he doesn't or she doesn't deliver what you want, that's going to cause trouble. And of the 3 or 4 clothing sales that I've seen happen, that is the one thing that broke. And I think that is the most important thing, and you have to balance cost, benefit, and reliability of the supplier. And I think that this is a point that is hard because it's not easy to predict which supplier is more reliable.
Perfect, thank you. And she also has a second question. So, seeing as the mandate of a treasurer is relatively straightforward, do you plan to innovate in your role? And if so, what do you plan to bring to the table if elected?
Well, I guess the big point, I've mentioned it in the first part of my speech, is the clear, concise, textual financial statements that people can access publicly on the MSS website or even on Facebook groups, Google Docs. And I think that this is something that will bring a lot of benefit to the community, because we don't have time to read numbers, and we're still interested. I'm sure that everyone is interested where their contribution is going to. And this is something that will tell you what your money is going to be spent. And with this knowledge, you can change things if you're not happy with it. You can tell your class reps, I don't want more alcohol-based events because I do not drink. You can tell your academic reps, I want, let's say, a conference on how to choose your path in the future. With this knowledge comes power, and I think that this is the biggest change that I'll bring to the council, essentially.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so now if you want, you can just go outside and call in Victor. So now the next candidate, Victor.
So I'm good to go. So hello, my name is Victor. As you probably can tell, I'm running for treasurer. So first I wanted to introduce myself. So I did my undergrad at McMaster and I'm originally from Vancouver. And there's 3 things that I really want to discuss with you today and why I think I'll make a good treasurer for you guys. So the first thing is transparency. I think it's very important for a treasurer to be transparent with the entire class. I'm using your money basically to organize events with the Med1 Council and at the same time listening to your ideas as well. And it's important for me to have that budget laid out for you guys so you can see where our money is going. So I plan on doing this by having a Google form that's easily accessible so you're able to see where we're allocating our funds every time we do an event. That leads me to my second point, which is open communication. With that, I want to establish an online forum where I can have easily accessible comments and feedback from you guys. Oftentimes, you may think that an event wasn't successful or we could have allocated funds to a certain event a bit more. That is very important for me to listen. So going forward and doing future events, I know how to allocate the funding. On top of that, I know that certain events, they have to be very open for the class. There sometimes might be people who don't drink alcohol. They might have different dietary restrictions. And I want the budget to really reflect that. So that being said, again, I have to reach out to you guys through either online forums or to have in-class discussions to see what your preferences are so I clearly make sure that budget reflects you guys. And the last thing is to manage costs well. So I have 3 great experiences in my undergrad where I was part of a part of being a treasurer. The first one was McMaster Smiling Over Sickness, where I managed a $20,000 budget for the largest club at McMaster. The next one was the finance director for MedLife, which I managed $10,000. And the biggest one, I think, that reflects most of this position is being the financial officer for McMaster Relay for Life, where I managed a budget of $10,000, but was able to fundraise $86,000 with my team. So I think having these skills will help me manage my budget very well, and I'll be able to also listen to you guys. And just
Thank
one
you,
final.
Victor.
Okay. Yes, thank you.
All right, so 2 questions. Oh, yeah. So there are 2 questions that were sent in from Bianca Sarkis, who was the person that held your position last year. And so her first question, a major part of the treasurer's mandate is to organize the McGill Medicine apparel sale, which caters to students from all 4 years of study. What do you think the most challenging aspect of this task will be, and how do you plan to address it?
So I think that's a really good question. So as I know, many of you do want to get your hoodies and your apparel because we're all excited to be here. But I think the difficult challenge in this would be making sure that everyone submits their orders and the budget is basically managed really well for that event. I know that as soon as someone hears about the hoodies, maybe they get really excited and they order, but I have to make sure that everyone hears about this clothing sale because since, like you mentioned, it's all 4 years, I have to make sure that all of the cohorts are able to kind of listen and hear that the sale is happening and making sure that I reach out to them. I think that will be the most difficult part. And I plan on doing that by contacting them through their Facebook groups, contacting their current student council, and maybe even making a post in the UGME digest as well.
Perfect, thank you. And her second question. Seeing as the mandate of a treasurer is relatively straightforward, do you plan to innovate in your role? And if so, what do you plan to bring to the table if elected?
I think that's a really good question because as some of you may know, I've already finished FMD, so I have a lot of spare time on my hands and I want to use that time to really help out with the student council. So one way is, besides managing the budgets, I do actually want to really work closely with the president and the social academic reps to maybe introduce new events because I believe being a treasurer allows me to kind of bring forth new events because I myself will have a feedback form as well. And this way I can see, a lot of people were maybe interested in a board games night or a food night and making sure that I really speak out to them and saying, this is how our money went. People really enjoyed it. Let's do that again. So I think having these feedbacks and these class discussions when I'm able to have the time, I think will definitely be very useful in terms of developing new events and making sure that current events that have been successful in the past continue to happen.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, so we can call back in. Okay, so now that Julie's here, we're gonna move forward to the VP Global Health Junior. And so with that, there's going to be Vincent and Kailan Wu. So let's choose tails, heads. Yeah. Okay, and whoever will go first. Really? And tails. Okay, so first person will be Kailan Wu.
All right, hello everyone. Hello viewers. So my name is Kailan. I'm running for the position of VP Global Health Junior. I'm gonna start a speech with a little story about myself. So 2 years ago, I was fortunate enough to find myself in the selection process for the Lorraine Scholarship. Even though it was a very brief experience, I learned something very important over there. Is that you don't need crazy funds. You don't need a PhD in social sciences to actually start an initiative that's gonna lead to a better community. All you need is a drive and the courage to start your own project. Like we learned during Block A, as medical students and future physicians, our voice has some reach and we can change people's mind from our position. And that's a very valuable thing to have in mind. And that's kind of the vision I wanna take for this position of Global Health Junior, to emphasize using the student body, the diversity within the student body, and promote global health, equity, and everything that comes with this. Bien sûr, je m'engage sur une position qui sera de coordonnateur pour tous les comités, mais aussi également de personne liaison pour différents comités. Mais par-dessus ce rôle-là, j'aimerais aussi prendre ce poste et faire la promotion de toutes les idées et les initiatives du côté des étudiants, peu importe que ce soit sur l'équité, global health ou quoi que ce soit qui nous amène à une meilleure communauté. Of course, the position of Global Health Junior has a lot of responsibilities, and I'm not taking this lightly. I just have in mind that everything I'm going to do is going to be specific, measurable, actionable, time-framed, and doable. So vote for me, and a better community starts with you and me.
Okay, thank you, Kilan. Yeah, we'll have 1 minute to 1:30.
Great, so thank you, yeah.
Yep.
So please explain your understanding of the role of a standing committee and
Right.
make your case in 1 to 1.5 minutes on why it's important that the MSS has a standing committee on global health
Okay.
versus a club.
Sorry?
Versus a club.
Okay. So for me, I find that standing committees compared to clubs is that it has it's less independent as the clubs, and they have this much more closer relationship with the MSS. So at some point, I feel like right now with standing committees, having an executive role within the MSS has more influence on them. And of course, from my perspective, from this year, I would like to actually have some influence for the clubs as well, because I'm seeing a lot of new clubs bringing more initiative towards global health, such as the refugee clubs, rare disease interest clubs, and such and such. So, okay. Sorry, what am I supposed to answer again for the first part?
So please explain what you think the role of a standing committee is, and then why it's important that global health is a standing committee versus a club.
Right. Okay. Well, I mean, for the global health part, I feel it's more the communication and cooperation part, having this closer relationship, and the goal of having this those standing committees is to perform better the ideas that we have and put them in place.
I have 2 more questions.
Yes.
So, a problem that's been noted on a national level at the CFMS is that student involvement in global and community health has always focused on raising awareness rather than making impactful and sustainable change.
Mm-hmm.
So how are you going to collaborate with members of the MSS Standing Committee on Global Health to overcome this inertia?
Oh, okay. Very interesting question. I thought about it as well because, yeah, of course, we see a lot of promotion and on awareness. But actually, I mean, I've seen what you guys did last year. You guys started a lot of student-led initiatives that's actually making a big impact. And that, I mean, I find it kind of unfortunate because we don't hear enough about them, but everything related to CHASM, student-led clinics, and a lot of them in your platform that's trying to see the day during this year. I feel like working towards this this idea of having students come up with their initiatives, with their ideas, and kind of filter through and mentor a little bit the direction of their objectives towards more bringing an impact than just putting posters around. And also another point is that I've noticed a lot from other faculties, other programs such as PTOT, nursing, and everything like this, and not only science faculties, also from and law and everything like this. And if it's possible, I'd like to see the MSS maybe cooperating more with those faculties and bring those ideas together and create more impacts in the society, and not just everyone has their own projects and never talk to each other.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And last question. So just could you tell us what makes you the better or the more qualified candidate to be VP Global Health Junior versus next time?
Right. So I don't like to brag. Like that's why I didn't include like past position I've taken and everything like this. But just talking about this spark and flame that I have for global health. So since I'm a teenager, I started working a lot with the Canadian Hemophilia Society, which is because I have hemophilia as well. And just recently, I joined into this program of this joint program between Canada and Bangladesh to help them build a better community within the hemophiliacs. And as well, I've done a lot of programs that kind of put this emphasis on global health with, ISEC, IFMSA. I went on exchange. I've talked with many members from those organizations, and they kind of give me more and more ideas towards working on initiatives to build a better global health. And at the same time, I've done a lot of student councils affairs in the year of MedP. I was the co-president of the MDSA, which is the MedP Association, and during CEGEP also take a lot of position of such organizations. So thank you.
Thank you, Kélan. So yeah, please just bring in Vincent. And our next candidate, Vincent Isette.
So hello, my name is Vincent, and I'm happy to announce that I'm running for the position of VP Global Health. I didn't come here to tell you about my past, but mainly to tell you more about my vision of the future and how we can grow as a whole and as a cohort. In fact, all of you guys did amazing things to be where you are right now, and this is exactly the magic of medicine, actually. The magic of medicine is a combination of all your talents, all our talents, and it is by working together that we can make things great. If you're listening to this speech today, it means that you already have a concern about global health and the well-being of your surroundings. Therefore, I know that I'm in the right place, with the right people, and that I'm doing the right thing. This year, I want all of us to make a difference together and to work together, and I will make sure to be there to answer all of your questions and inquiries and to take into consideration all of your different ideas to make global health a better field for the community. I have a strong desire to make a change, to make an impact, and in fact, I think that the best gift that you can give to someone is help and to reach out to someone. That is why I have two particular populations that I would like to help, which are the teenagers and children facing financial and social-economic difficulties. In fact, unfortunately and fortunately, I was able to see a darker side of society, and I lost a lot of friends, mainly because of what they did to their health. And trust population is important, and I tried to save lives, and I'm still trying to do it. That is why I went to medicine, because I want to continue the same journey and give back to the society and to these people who helped me smile, laugh, and who made me happy and helped me with my own issues and made me realize that we are all human. And they made me realize the real value of being human, actually. People who lived in the streets made me realize what it is like to be yourself for the others. Therefore, I think my vision of global health is essential, and no matter how the outcome of these elections, I will get involved in a way to help the population and to help our close ones. Thank you.
Thank you, Vincent. Questions?
Okay, yes, Miss, I have 3 questions.
Yeah.
So the first one is, please explain your understanding of the role of a standing committee and make your case on why it's important that the MSS has a standing committee on global health versus a club.
Actually, when you have a standing committee, in my opinion, and what I understand is that you actually represent an organization which is the MSS. So you're being able to defend all the different interests of the MSS and be there to represent the whole McGill University Faculty of Medicine as a whole. Therefore, that is why you attend to multiple conferences, then you try to work with different organizations to make a point. And I think that you're also one of the key points of the different clubs. So actually the standing committee is like above everything else, and there's different clubs, and if they have anything, any inquiries, they relate to you to have questions or if they need help. So I think it is essential to have one, because like this, like it provides a better structure and an easier way to help the different clubs and the ideas of everyone of the cohort.
Thank you.
Thank you. So the second one is a problem that's been noted on a national level at the CFMS is that students' involvement in global health and community health is focused on raising awareness of issues rather than tackling them in impactful and sustainable ways. How are you going to collaborate with the members of the Global Health Standing Committee to overcome this inertia?
First of all, I think that before making an action, you need to actually raise the issue. So both are combined in my opinions. So I think the first thing to do will be to explain if some people are in disagreement with what is happening or are like on the opposite side, you need to be able to make sure that everyone is on the same page and everyone's thinking the same way. Well, in the same way, I mean that everyone is on the same page so that we can move things together. And at the same time, once like issues are raised, then you can actually tackle a problem. If you don't find the issues and don't find the different things related to this issue, it will be harder for you to tackle the problems, because the thing is, we want to intervene in something that is concrete. So if it's something that just like, okay, like I want to help this kind of people, but don't know different aspects of it, you're not informed about like what's the issues, who's the related populations, or who's the different factors that contribute to the issues, it will be harder for you to do that. So I will make sure with the standing committee to like find all the different things related to this issue, and then like work with all the different fields of the MSS, because I think that we're working together in a multidisciplinary way, it's easier to achieve things, and we'll make sure to make an impact afterwards on the different issues that we're trying to tackle.
Thank you. And the last question is, what makes you the most qualified candidate for the VP Global Health?
In my opinion, I think that if we're all in medicine, we're all qualified candidates, and I have no doubt that Karen is a wonderful candidate. And for that reason, I think that I will not qualify my best as the best candidate, but I will qualify myself as someone who like wants the most to be implicated in this project, because we all have our different qualities and we all have our different qualifications, which makes us good candidates in a way. And I just think that the way I see things like I love actually to give back to people in a way that like more sentimental, and I actually want to get involved with populations and that doesn't have the same like chances that we guys have, because we must say that we're lucky. And when you actually see the different types of people in society, you realize that life is not fair for everyone, and it has a great impact on global health. And I was able to see all the different issues. As I said, some of my friends like passed away in the past year because of health issues that was relating to bad habits or like bad socioeconomic like growing fields where they grew up actually. And I've been there for a lot of people also who had problems with their health and with a lot of issues in society. So I mean, I just think that the vision I have is quite different than the other students in a way, but as I said, we all have a different vision, and I think that's what makes it great. And like, I won't work alone also, I'll work with all the different people in the MSS and of the cohort, and it's the recruitment of all our different like visions that will make a great impact on global health for this year.
Thank you.
No problem.
Would you mind letting him back in? Julie, would you mind actually just I'm gonna ask you for. All right, so with that, we'll move on to the last position. So that of the Med1 president. So I'll ask both of them. So we have Fardad Jabari and Rami Habib. The coin is over here. So we'll flip the coin. Heads or tails? Heads. One second. Tails. Squeeze. Tails.
Tails. You go, my friend. Enjoy.
Good. Give him a minute. All right, so Rami,
Yes.
go ahead.
All right. Hello, everybody at home. Hello, everybody here. So I want to start off by saying the Med1 presidency position is extremely important to make sure that you guys have an amazing year. Now, it consists of three main roles. First of all, it's to advocate and represent you guys. And I know I can do this by taking every single one of your opinions and making sure it's brought forth to the faculty and to the teachers. Now, the second role is to plan events. Make sure that everything works in a way that allows people to feel included and intermingle and feel like they're really part of this family, which we call medicine. Now, the last part is to be somebody who can solve problems. And they might arise on the group scale as much as they can arise on the individual scale. And no matter what the problem may be it during exam week or R&E week, I want to be there to help you guys. I want to be there to make sure that you guys don't need to stress about that and you can leave it to me. Now, how can I show you guys that I'm going to be able to do it? I have 7 years of experience in public representation, and I have this experience in school, be it high school and CEGEP. I have it on the municipal scale where I worked as the vice president in the Youth Council of Montreal. And in this position, especially in this position, is where I flourish the most and where I think my qualities come into play for this position. I am somebody who's able to work in a team. I'm able to bring people together and work in a cohesive way to make everything work fluidly. Now, I just want to close off by saying again, my name is Rami and I hope you'll vote for me for an unforgettable year. Mon nom c'est Rami et j'espère que vous allez voter pour moi pour une année inoubliable. Au revoir tout le monde.
So thank you, Rami. So there are 2 questions sent in again from last year's Med1 president, Jad.
Mhm.
So his first question, what characteristics, skills, or traits do you think are necessary to ensure that the needs of your classmates are met while maintaining a positive working relationship with the UGME? And why do you think this would be of significance in your role as class president?
It's a very good question. And I think there are many characteristics that are needed for somebody to appeal to both the students and the UGME. But above all else, I think it takes somebody who's a good listener, a good communicator. And that incorporates listening and someone who's able to be charismatic and speak to people while passing a message in a way that is always respectful, professional, and make sure that it's clear. So I think I have what it takes because I showed it from the beginning of this year. I've spoken to people who, I'm from MedP, and I took the opportunity to talk to everybody in the class, be it undergraduate, MedP, from a professional background. I'm somebody who opens up, and that's why I think I'm good for this position on the side where it comes to speaking to the students. Now, speaking to the UGME, so the faculty and even the dean, well, these people, I've worked in a professional setting where I had to, voice my opinion in a way that sometimes didn't make the people in front of me very happy, but I had to pass that message because it was the right thing to do to represent the people that were behind me. I always do it in a way that fosters respect and a positive conversation to see what can go forward from there.
Perfect, thank you. So his second question, do you anticipate any challenges in the domain of official communications and information transfer that may arise within the MSS or your class council in today's era of social media use? If so, what will you be doing as class president to circumvent that?
It's a great question, and I feel we're already living it right now with the bombardment of emails, the notifications from left and right on Facebook. So what's essential here is about choosing the key messages to pass. I think it's as if in anything else, you have to be able to choose what do I send and what do I not send and keep for a later date. It's very important to choose your message and how you convey it to get to the people that are touched by this message and to avoid clogging social media so that the next time somebody sees the notification from you, they don't tell themselves, well, I've heard enough, I can't do it, I need to get back to studying. Of course, that's a reality of most of us. We have our social medias that are completely overflowing, and I'm going to deal with that by making sure with the class council that messages that need to be passed are passed in a way that are essential. So only messages that are essential will come on a social media base that affects everybody. Messages that are really for a small group or maybe individuals, I'll make sure to do that face to face. I will take the time to go see people and make sure that conversation can be done. Above all else, I'm going to make sure that I don't be redundant and things are done in a pithy way. So precise and concise.
Thank you, Rami.
Thank you.
So please just send in Fardad.
Good.
Hello. And so the last speech of the day, I guess. So Fardad for presidency.
Standing ovations, I think. Well, hello everyone. Well, thank you for coming and giving me your valuable time. My name is Fardad Jabori and I'm running for president of Med1 class of 2022. I'm here today to briefly tell you why I'm running for this position. Rami, my friend, is also running for the same position, and I'm confident he will do a great job should he be elected. In fact, I've met so many great people in my class that I have no doubt every single person in my class is far more than capable of executing the responsibilities of Med1 president flawlessly. But let me tell you the most important lesson I have learned in my life, both at a professional and personal level. In life,
everything is about who you know. Essentially, your network shapes your personal life and professional career. Networking is not about taking advantage of people, not at all. It is about negotiation skills, altruism, trading, compromise, all at the same time. I've been talking to many of my colleagues for the past few days, compiling a list of issues to tackle right away as your president. This list, which includes intermingling of MedPs, Dents, and Meds in my class, is online, and you can vote for the issues you want to improve or even add your own. My job as your president is to follow up on these issues with the faculty to facilitate our time at McGill and make it a great and enjoyable experience for all of us. I sincerely hope to get your vote because your vote counts. And once again, thank you ever so much for your time, and I wish you a great weekend.
Thank you, Farhad.
Thank you.
So, like the other positions, the previous Med1 president sent in 2 questions. So the first, what characteristics, skills, or traits do you think are necessary to ensure that the needs of your classmates are met while maintaining a positive working relationship with the UGME? And why do you think this would be of significance in your role as class president?
Right. Well, it is no doubt it's going to happen that you're going to have issues in a class of 180 people. And I mean, include Dents as well, of course. So you have to be a good listener. You have to listen to people and the issues they have. People want to be heard. People have different issues. It's very important not to be biased. Listen very attentively to what's going on, what they're talking about, and then see what you can do. It's very important to be a good leader. Okay, just so you have to get the input. You have to know the facilities and the abilities you have as a president, and then try to figure out what you can do about it. So that's why I said networking is very important, to have a great relationship with UGME, with the dean, with other people in the faculty. It helps you executing your jobs as the president.
Thank you.
Sure.
And his second question, do you anticipate any challenges in the domain of official communications and information transfer that may arise within the MSS or your class council in today's era of social media use? If so, what will you be doing as class president to circumvent them?
Right, I do. And the reason for that is we get bombarded with so many messages and emails. And, you know, I don't know about you, but so far on my McGill email, I've got so many emails, honestly, don't even go through them. I just look at the title and see what's going on. So it's very important to establish a distinct line of communication between the council, the president, and the MSS, and of course with the UGME as well, to make sure that the important messages don't get lost. Having said that, mass communication these days is of course email and Facebook. So important announcements and engaging people should be done through Facebook because it's more attractive. Whether I like it or not, which I do, is what most people use. So I think, to summarize, it's very important to make a clear and distinct form of communication for the important matters, so they don't get, you know, cluttered among other stuff.
Thank you.
Thank you, Fardan. And so with that, I guess we're done. Oh, we'll just, yeah, let me come back. And so with that, that wraps up the elections speeches for today. I guess that's all. Good job to all the candidates, good speeches. And I hope that everyone and everyone watching will vote and look at the speeches. Yes?
In the emails that you sent us, there's a discrepancy concerning the end of the campaigning period. One email says 11:59 a.m., the other says 11:59 p.m. Which one is it?
Okay, so it's tomorrow at 11:59 a.m. and that'll be clarified. Yeah, in the morning. It'll end tomorrow in the morning. All right, thank you.
Whatever happens,
I just click end stream, right? Yeah, one sec.
in fact, if I could take my place.